Okay, we're up to Mem Dalid Amid Base. Mem Dalid Amid Base, right? We're up to Mem Dalid Amid Base. And we wanted to know if Havla, if you want Tchum, it encapsulates another Tchum if you get the whole Tchum. So we brought a case by a cave. We're on top, and on the bottom, on the bottom. In the cave itself, it was this wide. Outside, it was less. And since it went overlapped each other, you got that distance. Abaye said to, he said there's a difference between if you're kind of shvisa there, you're not kind of shvisa there. So we're up to the Heicha, the last line, the Heicha le'shavas, and where you don't take residence in the cave, loy v'tanan. Now this is the Mishnah we're going to see Be'ez Hashem later on. If a person goes outside of Tchum, you have 4 amis. Rabbi Eliezer says the 4 amis is we give him directionally, we give him 2. This is according to Rabbi Eliezer, guys. This is what it looks like. You see, picture 20. You know that you don't get 4 in this direction or 4 in that direction. 8. You get 4, and you view him as if he's in the middle. You view him as if he's in the middle, so you get only 2. Good. You get on what? Yeah, 4 across. You get 4 across. That's Rebbe Eliezer. Matan Rebbe Eliezer, Rebbe Eliezer says. Rebbe Eliezer says Shtayim Yikones. 2 you go ahead Rod and enter. You'll be able to go back to the Tchum. Gimel lo Yikones, but Gimel you won't be able to go back to the Tchum. My love Rebbe Eliezer Tamei. The Omar V'chu be'emtza. He's in the middle, right? The Arba Amis the Havilei Rabbanon. Command the Nivlu Dami, and the Racham are giving 4. So the 2 are encapsulated in the 4, so it overlaps. The Kama Yikanes, Alma Havla Tchum and Milsi. We see that what the encapsulation of a Tchum is something, and over here you're kind of Shrisa. Amarabba Rabchana Labaya. Now you weren't kind of Shrisa. You drifted out. In other words, the teretz you gave yesterday is the difference between whether you would get Benish Moshes, not Benish Moshes. Over here, you won't get Benish Moshes. That's why you lost your Tchum. And nonetheless, we're saying that what it encapsulates, you can go back in. Says the Gemara, you asking for Rebbe Laza? Lamar? On Rabba? I'm like, I am. The Shmiele Mine, the Shmiele Mine, the Mar, because we heard that Rabba holds, Ad Kan like Pliga Rabbanallah, the Rebbe Eliezer. What's his kasha, fellas? Usually, halacha is according to the majority. So here you're asking a question from the minority Rebbe Eliezer. Why are you asking a question from me? After all, it's the Chachamim that's important. They say 4, not 2, that encapsulates the 4 that's encapsulated in. So you ask me from Rebbe Eliezer. So he says, yeah, because we have Messiah. Ad kan le'pliga Rabbanallah Rebbe Eliezer el devar rishus. Aval devar mitzvah moidele. If you went out for devar mitzvah, is moida. And our Mishnah was discussing when the person went out for a devar mitzvah, if you remember, like they were outside the tchum because they were there for a devar mitzvah. The Mishnah said, and anyone who's yotzil lahatzil, they go back to their place. Now, what does that mean? Anyone you already told me, if a person goes out for a shus, and they tell the Maisa was there, you said you get 2,000 amis. And over here, it's mashma, you go back to your place even if you're more than 2,000 amis out. In other words, you go outside, right? You're going to be, you're an aid that's going to be in Kaddish Levana. You go out, you're very excited. You thought you're the first guy to see it, right? It's like when you get that mistake is made online, right? For the tickets there to throw. And you think you're the first one to see it. And sure enough, a second later, it's gone. Right? You're smiling, right? A second later, it's gone. So the same thing over here. You saw the Levana, you're on your way up. No, not so fast. We don't need you. You're gone. Forget about it. So they stop you. And what do you get? You get 2,000, right? Now it says over here, anyone who goes out for the purpose of being matzo goes back. Meaning if you're 8,000, 10,000, you're going back. How do you explain the discrepancy? That's what the most problem is going to be. Even more than 2,000. You said, Resha alpayim amma. The Resha you get 2,000 amis. This right? The Suloi, mashma, nothing else. And for the Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, when When it says over here, it says Kol Yoitzel Hatzel Chayzel Komo. It doesn't refer to the distance. It refers that your weapons you're able to take back. Really, you only get what? You only get the same 2,000 as anybody else. But you're able to bring your Kli Zion with you. You're able to go ahead and bring that back with you. That's what it's telling us. My kushya, what's the kasha in the first place? Dilma lahatzil shiny. Guys, I make a chilik. A woman who goes, they didn't go out to be mekadosh the levana, right? They get 2,000. But a person who's going to be moist nefesh to go save somebody, right? At solar call, someone makes that solar call, he's able to go back. So maybe find the kasha doesn't begin. There's an innate discrepancy between the two. In one case, what you went out for the mitzvah and you weren't needed. The other one, you went out for hatzalah, and therefore that's why maybe it's not a kasha. Eli kasha ha kasha. You want a kasha? I got a good kasha. But none. Rishona, the Mishnah says in Rosh Hashanah, those who learn Rosh Hashanah by the Shabbos table, by the Rosh Hashanah table, here you go. Rishona lehoya zazin misham kol yam kula. The Edom would go out, good. They'd come back, and they were Mekadosh Labana, correct? And they weren't needed. No, they weren't needed. They weren't needed. All the Edom came. They all came outside of Tchum. So they were limited to what? To 4 Amis. So Rishayna lehoyu zazim misham kalayam kula. Hiskim Rabbi Zaken sheyesh lam apayim amal chalav ruach. Fellas, if you knew that when you come to Yerushalayim, you're going to be stuck in 4 Amis because you went out of Tchum, well, I'm sure I'm not the only one who saw it, right? Somebody else must have seen it, right? I'm not the only one. And guess what? You won't have 1 aid, right? That's a true quantity. Yeah, I'm saying that you won't have 1 aid. So Memela, they made a takana. Guess what? Come, and you'll get 2,000 amas. In other words, you'll get plenty of real estate that you don't have to worry, that you won't feel, choked. No problem. That was the takana of Gamliel. V'loy elu bilvad amru. And not only these got 2,000, elafilu chachama habolele, a midwife who comes to aid a woman in childbirth. V'habola hatzil min agayis, someone who comes to go ahead and save from an invading army. Umin anor, from the river. Umin apilis, or from a fallen wall. Umin adleika, harihen ka'anshei ir, yesh lam apayim amal chol ruach v'suloi. So now the ha'amid kol yoytzel hatzil. In other words, it's the same kasha, but now it's mefoirish. Guys, now it's stated clearly that you went out for the purpose of a gaius, the purpose of the matzel, the polis. So here, in our Mishnah, where we can make the difference, over here it says openly you went out, you only get 2,000, and that's it. Yet our Mishnah says what? Mashma, even in your 10,000, you go back to your place. So now you have a question from the Brisa to our Mishnah. You have a question from the Brisa to our Mishnah. So what's the teretz? Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, shechoizim b'kli zayin komo. What the chiddush is that you go back with kli zayin to your place, that you can bring it back. You can bring the kli zayin back. But again, only 2,000. When our Mishnah says you can bring in komo, what it means is you can bring back the kli zayin. Kidetanya. Initially, when they got in, they would leave, the soldiers would take all their armor and all their weapons, and they'd leave it as soon as they leave it right in the first place they come to. And they ran after them. They all went into the house. The house was it was tight, and they all ran into the house to get the klizayin to fight the goyim. And Baku says in their haste to get the armor and the weapons, they trample each other. And Hargu says and more people died in that than the actual battle. So at that time they made a takana that they can go back with the klizayin. They can go back with klizayin. That was the takana they made. So in answer to the stira, really you only get 2,000. Really you only get 2,000, right? You only get 2,000. Elama, when it says, our Mishnah says, Choslim Komo, it means that, not that they can go back to their place. It means that they can bring their Kli Zayin back. That they can bring it back. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar like kasha. No, it's not a kasha. In other words, you're asking, it's mashma from my Mishnah, you get more than 2,000, and it says 2,000, like kasha. Kan shenitzchu Yisrael es umas ha'olam. Kan shenitzchu umas ha'olam es atzman. If we're victorious, then you'll get 2,000. On the other hand, we're not in first place, right? Trust me, right? Something I'm used to. So there, you would get even more. Amrav Yudam Rav. Nachrim shetzoru al yoris Yisrael. Nachrim that go ahead and siege Jewish cities. And yotzim aleim b'kli zeinam. On Shabbos, you can't go out with your weapons. They mechalon as Shabbos. Hanyan amihachi nachrim shetzoru. And when don't you go out? It's kishabol liskei mammon. They're the tax collector. Then avabol liskei nefashos. If they're coming for liskei nefashos, then yotzim aleim b'kli zeinam mechalon as Shabbos.
Why do we find that you're allowed to be Machal Shabbos for tremendous hefsed?
What do you mean?
Who
state that you can be Machal Shabbos for hefsed moment?
If someone's house is not consequential, your house is burning or your store is
burning. It burns. You're only able to go ahead and put it out if it's going to spread to somebody else. That's why. If your house is separate, if it's not shiloh about somebody else, you're not able to put it out. It has nothing to do with money. Nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. Nothing. Anytime you're able to put it out, it's only because of nefashos.
I guess because there was only at this point. Remember the Gemara brought
Yeah, you know what? I think this is even out. This is Melchemes Rishus. Yeah. Ubi'ira smuch l'safer, afilu loy bo aliskin nefashos, ela al iskei tevim v'kasher etzan leim because they don't Melchemes Shabbos. If it's a border city and you want to make sure that they don't get entrenched in Israel, you want to make sure that the goyim don't come in, then even a border city, if they come just to collect tevim v'kash, are able to go out and Mechal Shabbos. And that's how important it is. Again, it's very interesting. The Gemara is just bringing an agav. It added joy. It found a place to bring in some interesting halachas. And trust me, in Eruvin, it's always good to get a little respite. So Gemara. Amar Rabbi Yosef bar Yomi, Amar Rav Nachman. Ubavel kira smuchel safer damya, and Babel is like a city that's smuchel safer that you would be able to go ahead and go out. So again, it's not doing Melchemes Rishus Yaakov. You see, even where like in Chutzlarts, right? V'tegemu and Nardah, and they've been tagging which is the city that is the Sfar, which would be what for the frontier. It would be what it would be Nardah. Dorish Rab Destoy Demin Biri Ma'idich Siv Vayigidul David Lemor. Hine Pelishtim Nilchomim v'Keila. Behold, the Pelishtim, they're going to war with Keila. V'Hemishoysim es Agronis, and they're oppressing. They're taking the food from the threshing floors. Tana Keila ira smuchel l'safra. It was a city that was next to the frontier. And they were only coming for the purpose of Shoysim es Agronis. They were coming for food. They weren't coming for nefashos. They were coming for food. David ba'Hashem Lamor. David asked Hashem, should I go? Be Casey b'Pelishtim ha'elech, and will I go ahead and smite these Pelishtim? Vayom Hashem el David lech go v'kisa b'Pelishtim, and you'll ask that Pelishtim. V'hashata es Keila, and you'll go ahead. You'll save Keila. My coming boy late. What's the shaila? Now this is outside, guys. It's interesting. If you have a shaila in halacha, issa v'heta, chayiv v'muta, you have a bezna gadol for that. Depending on the severity of the shaila, you have a bezna for that. If you want to know future events, then you ask the Urim V'Tumim. You don't ask the Urim V'Tumim. Now, only 3 people can ask from the Urim V'Tumim. Is the Melech, the Av Bezdin, and Mishat Sibet Sarach. The Kohen Gadol is a vehicle of the Urim V'Tumim. He can't ask from the Urim V'Tumim. So the Urim V'Tumim was a piece of parchment with the Shemim Mefarish on it. It was stuck between the Choshen and the Ephod. We're going to see in the Masechta Yuma where you would ask the question, and there's a machlokus exactly whether it lit up or if a bigness happened that the letters came and they were bolate and they came and they formed. And as a matter of fact, we just had that Maisa on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. We read the Maisa. We read the Maisa with Eli asking about Chana. How is Eli asking about Chana? So it's a very, very good kasha that someone just asked me over here. How is Eli if Eli is not a now you could say Eli was the shofet. You could say Eli was the shofet, so he had a din of a melech. That would answer your question, Moshe. Okay, so how could Eli ask the Urim B'tumim about Chana? And the answer was he read it wrong. She thought that she was drunk because he wanted to know if she was okay. And it was no, so it would scramble the letters. It was Kishera, Chaf Shin Reish Hey. He read it as Shikaira, Shin Chaf Reish Hey. So what do you mean?
He read it incorrectly because he wasn't supposed to ask. He wasn't supposed to ask.
No. He had a right. He wouldn't have asked in the first place. He didn't have a right to ask. But Eli was the shofet. So since he was the shofet, he had a right. He had a right to ask. Okay. So David is the melech. David could ask. And the Chari you see from here, the Urim V'tumim answers also in order. He said, A, should I go? And B, should I be victorious? Because there's another Maisa in the Navi where he asked incorrectly. He asked, will I be victorious? And then he asked whether I should go. He doesn't answer the same way. But here he asked in order. But you see over here that he went and he was victorious, and all they wanted to do, the people, was to get their food, kash v'teven, and nonetheless he went out. It's supporting the idea, since Keila was a town, an area that was Soimich L'Sfar, you're able to go ahead and go out and do victory and go to war. So that's what happened over here. So Fred the Gemara now you know the whole dialogue, guys. Now my coming boy like Ilay Shari also if it's mutter to go to war, also to go to war. Harik Bezdin Shal Shmuel Ramasi Kain. That's a Sanhedrin Dikadin. Ella Imatzliach Iloy Matzliach. He asks, will I be Matzliach or not? They can ami Chsiv Leichve Kisaba Plishtim. Go and smite the Plishtim, so that you'll see that he was a shiloh, whether he was victorious or not. So now you know a little bit about the Urim V'tumim, and very, very geshmak. Says the next Mishnah. Mi sheyoshev b'derech.
You know whatever happened.
What, Kila? Yeah, Urim V'tumim. There was no Urim V'tumim in the second bias. There was no Urim V'tumim in the second bias. It wasn't, again, I don't think there was an Urim V'tumim second bias. You have to see a list. The Mishnah discusses what you didn't have the Urim. I'm not sure. Again, don't quote me on this. I feel bad being recorded. I'm not sure if there was an Urim V'tumim or not. Again, this is not Nevuah. This is better. No, this is a hotline to God. This is a hotline to God. So this is again. So it's again the Via never interpreted. The Kohen Gadol would read it. The Kohen Gadol would look down. We're going to see the protocol. We'll get to him. It's very interesting. He asks and he looks down, and we're going to see very geshmak. Okay. Anyway, so this person is going. Let's change the gersa. Mi sheyasham baderech. Not yasham. Not that he's sitting. He's sleeping baderech. For Amad, and lo and behold, v'ra that what harihu samech le'ir. In other words, he went to sleep. Benish mashais. Had he gone around the bend, he would have gone to the city. What would you have gained? Once you're in the city, guys, you get 4 amis. The whole city is considered your 4 amis, and you would get 2,000 directionally. Now he only gets 2,000 amis from where his place was. Guys, you understand? If you go to a city, it's not as that. You can travel much more than 2,000 amis, because New York City, you go to the end, who knows where it ends, right? So therefore, you get much more. But he stopped short, so you only get 2,000 from where he is. Since his kavana was not to go ahead and be kind of shvisa in the city, lo yikanes. You can't enter the Reb Meir. If you don't even know yikanes, Reb Yehuda says the fact you could. He says you could. Reb Yehuda Maisa Hayav Nichlas of Tarfin below Miskavin. The Maisa happened. Reb Tarfin Take. He went ahead and entered below Miskavin. Let's see Rashi. Lo yikanes the ear. Leo is kanshi ear, to be like a member of the city. On one line before it gets wide. From the place where he went to sleep, we're going to go ahead and measure, as we saw the other day, 2,000 middle steps. And wherever he goes ahead, that's it. That's where he can go to. So it's he never realized that. When it's That's Reb Meir Shita, and Reb Yehuda says not, and he brings it right from Reb Tarfin. Says the Gemara, Tanya Reb Yehuda Ma'aser Reb Tarfin. Shay Mahalik B'derech V'chosh Koloi B'lon Chutz Le'ir. Again, Bryce is elaborating upon the Mishnah. Reb Tarfin was going along the way, and he went down. He went to sleep, and he was outside the city. And L'Shachris Matzu Roi Baka. The Roy Baka found him, and he said, "Amalei Rebbe, Ariel lefanecha, ikanes nichnas v'yasher beis hamedrash." He sat in the beis medrash, v'darash kol yam kula, and he dashed the whole day. So obviously, what he was going beyond the tchum. So they told Rabbi Yehuda, "Amalei biksham raya shema belibo haysa." I beis hamedrash mulab tchum haya. Maybe the beis hamedrash was in his tchum, or maybe he knew when he was there, he knew that it was close enough to the city, and maybe he had in mind to be kind of shvisa in the city, because it has to do with the mind. So you have no raya where our Mishnah does not bring the retort of the Chachamim to Rabbi Yehuda. The Brisa does and say there's no raya. Ken Zayin, Rabbi Tarfon knew all along, and he didn't go into the city, but his kavanah was to be kind of shvisa in the city. Mishi Yosim b'derech, a guy goes to sleep on the way. Says the next Mishnah of Layada Shecha, right? He doesn't know that why it got dark. So he went to sleep. He had no guys. He went to sleep and he had nothing in mind. It was Erev Shabbos. He was tired. He lied down. He's gone. Question: is he stuck at 4 amis, or does he get 2,000 from? No, he had no kavanah. Period. So do you need kavanah to be kind of shvisa or not? So therefore, Misha sheyashim b'derech l'yada shechashcha yesh le'apayim am l'chol ruach de Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says you get 2,000 amis. Even though you had nothing in zin, you didn't have anything in mind, you're going to get 2,000 amis. That's what you're going to get, despite the fact that you had nothing in mind. Good? Next. Guess what? You didn't have any kavanah, all you get is 4 amis. That's it. You have no shvisa. All you get is 4 amis. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, and he is in the middle of the 4 amis, like we illustrated on the share screen. The 2, 2, and 2. You're in the middle. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, le'ezer ruach sheyetze yelech. No, you get 4, and whichever which way you want to go, you can go. Umayde Rabbi Yehuda, whichever which way you want to go. Shem biraloi shen yachal achzeboy. If you choose your way, that's it. If you choose your way, you can't go ahead, Ron, and decide you want to go in the other direction. It says Rashi, le'ezer ruach sheyetze yifel dalet amis the achashe biraloi letzad zeh and yachal lachze v'liver mitzad ache. You decide to go into the east, you can't change your mind and go to the west, which is really, really interesting, right? Because usually, we learned, according to the Rabbanon, you get 4 amis, you get 8 amis. In other words, you're in the middle and you get 4 amis any which direction. He's saying if you choose 4 amis that direction, that's what you're in. Okay, we'll see Bez Hashem. Next case. You got some more concentric circles here, right? If you get 4 amis, you only get 4 amis. So here you go, guys. 21. You have 2 guys. Each guy was they don't have any shvisa. They don't have 4,000 amis. They don't have 2,000 amis. All they have is what is their 4, right? And this is the Shittas Chachamim. Picture 21.
Page 91.
Page 91, picture 21. So you have a concentric circle. The Aleph area is the place they share. They share that area. They're able to eat in that area. They're able to eat in that area, provided this guy doesn't go to him and this guy doesn't go to him. That the shared area, but he can't go beyond that. And then we're going to see another case. Okay. Maybe you're scared that you'll be drawn to go to the other guys. Yeah.
They can each eat in Aleph
because that's a shared. It's commonly shared place. And the chiddush is that you're not worried that this guy's going to the other guy's tchum out. That is going to go outside Avrami outside the 4. Now we have another picture over here, right? You have another picture over here, picture number 22, where it's a little more elaborate, right? So you have 3 guys, right? And they're all in the Valentine sign. Remember those people? Remember Valentine beer? There you go. Okay. Or it's a shtickle Audi, right? Audi. I think an Audi is 3 or 4. Yeah.
3.
What? Okay, whatever. Anyway, so in this case, they can share with the middle guy, but they can't share with each other, right? Same thing. The same thing that there's two sides can share. Now, the middle guy can share with this concentric circle. The middle guy can share with this concentric circle, and this guy with this guy with this. But however, they can't share with each other, right? They can't. Yeah, the middle guy can share that area with both. Okay. It's Baruch Hashem, you're awake. It's very good. Says. No, it's fine. I'd rather hear your voice.
With the Franks and blank.
You woke up, he has 4 hours.
They can't empower him with Torah. It's terrible. So, they share the common area, right? It's 4 and 4, like it's the area 6 in the middle. And so they go ahead and bring food in the middle on the base. That's the Chiddush Rabbi, right? Provided that this guy does not go into the other person. Now the same case, but with 3 guys. You got 3 guys. The middle guy is mutter between them. Who mutter imahem? He, the middle guy, is mutter with them. They're mutter with him. However, the 2 outside guys assume they're also with each other. Amrav Shimon Lama Hadavid Daimeh. The Shalosh Chatzeres Hapsuchas Zulazu, 3 Chatzeres that are open to each other. Upsuchas to Rishus Harabim, and they're open to Rishus Harabim. Eruvu Shtayim Memtsoyim Himuter Simahem. The middle guy is mutter with them. They muter Simah. Shtayim Kitzanias Asur Zumzu. So again, we're going to have this case Bez Hashem a little later on in about the 3 Chatzeres. Let's just see Rashi on this. The Shalosh Chatzeres Zu Eitzel Zu. So guys, picture it. Again, it's too far down. 1, 2, 3, and they're open to Rishus Harabim. What? If you're interested at page 1, okay, go quickly to page 199.
Why does that have
Again, it doesn't have it's open to Rishus Hayachid. It's not a Rishus Hayachid. Again, it's open to Rishus Harabim. So again, we're going to see this. It's just Psuchas Rishus Harabim, the Chol Achas Rishus La'atzma. In other words, once it's open to Rishus Harabim, each one is considered a separate Rishus. The Elam Drisas Haregel Zuazu, they can't walk in each one's Rishus. The Havi Lahu, Zulif Nimizu, if you would have one inside the other, Asr Pnimi Achitzaina, then the inner one would be Asr on the outside one. That feel if they Atzma Surah Kalachas Lishtam. We'll see Bez Hashem. We'll see this when we get there, okay? Okay, so anyway, question is on Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Someone goes to sleep, yes, and he wakes up. What does he get? 2,000? According to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, he does. According to Chachanim, he gets what? Now, what's the svara? Is it svara that we compare him to Kalim? A kli of hefker. We had this earlier. I told you we're going to get to it. You have a keli that's hefker. It's not owned by anybody. Good? It's not owned by anybody. If it's kind of shvisa, then you would be limited to where you could take the kli to where the kli shvisa was. Kli shvisa, they go to no one has this kli. It's hefker. And now, when Beinish Marshas comes, it's at point A. Beinish Marshas comes, it's at point A, and point A is directionally 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. You will kind of shvisa at point B. Your shvisa would take the kli outside of its shvisa. If I take the kli to my shvisa, I'd be able to take it farther. So in other words, let's say my point extends another 1,000 amis beyond the point of the. Here's point A. Here's point A. Get 2,000 in this direction. Go 1,000 amis this direction, you get point B. So point B is another. It's 1,000 within this, and another 1,000 beyond that, right? Good. I pick up this kli now. Can I take it to where I'm allowed to, or is it limited to where? So it's a din in the chetza. It's a din. It's kind of shvisa. So Memela, if a guy goes to sleep, he's not worse than a ownerless kli. That's kind of shvisa. Yeah, that's the tushta. That's it. So let's see it inside, and it's very, very good shmak, guys. Says the Gemara. Boy Rava, Micah sav Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. When it says that a sleeping person is koinish shvisa, what does he hold? Mizba kasava, chetze hefka koinish shvisa, the chetzema hefka de koinish shvisa, an ownerless kli is kona 2,000 amis directionally, ubedinhu de lifluk bekalim. And really, if that's the svara, the machloikis between Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and the Rabbanan should be in Kalim and not in people. In other words, if the whole Hoichacha is that he's not worse than a Kli, so argue in a Kli, don't argue in a sleeping person. Forget about sleeping people. If the Machlokes is totally in, how do you view the Chepsa? Why are you arguing in the Gavra? The Afagav, the Iklam Mei Mahoil Veneer says, well, I'll tell you why. V'hod kamiflagi ba'adam. Why are you telling me the Machlokes by Adam? Lo yediach, to let us know, koichan derabanan. The Afagav, the Iklam Mei Mahoil Veneer kana yashanami kana kamashman deloy. In other words, as far as like this, if he was up, would he be kind of shvisa? Yeah. So just because he's sleeping, he's not. Just because he's sleeping, why is it bad? In other words, where he is, we can say he's up. He doesn't have to say. Remember, he doesn't have to say anything, guys. Right? He doesn't have to say. The fact that he's up, he's kind of shvisa. So just because he's sleeping, he should be kind of shvisa. That's the chiddush of the chachamim. You wouldn't have heard that if you would have had machlokes by kalim. You wouldn't have heard such a chiddush, right? You only heard the chiddush because we're speaking about people. Because by kalim, there's no difference between wake and sleep. They're always sleeping. No, so again, we're saying no. He said bardas. We're speaking about a normal person. So now, so the chiddush, you are a normal person. Says the Gemara, the chiddush is that in fact, that's what the Gemara we had. That says in fact that's the chiddush. So, but in other words, so be'emes the svara of Rabbi Yochanan Nuri is kalim. The reason we had machlokes by people is to tell me the chiddush of the chachamim. That he's the chacham machmir, despite the fact there's a svara to say had he been up, he would have been kind of shvisa, who wasn't sleeping. Or Dilma, perhaps there's another svara. Dilma k'sav Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, ba'alma chetzei hefker ain't kind of shvisa. Chetzei not kaina. And in my example, the guy at point B would be able to take the kli as much as he wants. It's not kind of anything. V'hachayin the taima hoyel v'nir kana yishnami kana. And goof for the svara of Rabbi Yochanan is since if he was up, he'd be kind of shvisa. If he's sleeping, he's kind of shvisa. So we want to know what exactly is the svara of Yochanan Nuri. Okay. Again, one more time, guys. One more time. Look at me. Zoom is looking at me. Everyone look. We have a din. Here's the din of the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, if you fall asleep, says Rabbi Yochanan Nuri, you're kind of shvisa the same way as you'd be awake. Says the Chachamim, if you fall asleep, you get 4 amas. Period. Now, what's the reason behind Rabbi Yochanan Nuri? I'll give you 2 options. One, it's a din in kalim. Just like a hefketika kli is kind of 2,000 amas, so to a sleeping person is no worse than that. I said, then why don't you tell me the machlokes like tell me the chiddush of the chachamim? Or no, gufa a kli of hefker is not kind of shvisa. Nafkamina would be tremendous. A guy who picks it up would be able to take it. In my scenario, he'd be able to take it another 1,000 amas at the point B. You won't be limited to 2,000, right? That's the nafkamina, guys. The nafkamina would be, I will be able to take it to my place, even if it's beyond 2,000. And what's the svara of Yochanan Nuri? Since I'd be up, I'd be kind of shvisa. Even when I'm sleeping, I'd be kind of shvisa. So you have a nafkamina and halacha right then and there. The nafkamina would be, if the kli is limited to its 2,000, or no, it could be expanded depending upon the person who picked it up. That's what the word wants to know. I'm Rabbi Yosef, Tashma, I'll be Paishet Shaila. Tashma, what? I'm Paishet. Geshamim sheyodu me'erev yontif. Geshamim come down erev yontif. Yesh lehem al payimam ol chol ruach. Okay? They're kind of shvisa. They come down erev yontif, the water. It's kind of shvisa. So why do you have a raya? So that it's a din in the kli. Because the air, it's not a person. Yesh lehem al payimam ol chol ruach. Beyontif, however, if it comes down on Yontif, harihen kiragli kol adam, then it's like what? Like the regular of the person that picked it up. If Bishleim you're going to tell me that Rabbi Yochanan says his svara is because an inanimate object can be kind of shvisa, we have someone to explain an inanimate object such as water, how it can be kind of shvisa. Erev Yantif. It's Erev Yantif. Wait. Erev Yantif. Erev Yantif. Tashma. Geshamim sheyardu. May Erev Yantif. You have to look at the Hebrew Sahihesh. It's hard to read. In English, it's hard to read. Yeah.
Yes.
The mess is in the way. Okay. Anyway.
We don't have the issue because that came down Shemaima above them.
Very good. Excellent. Hang in. Tomorrow's daf. Excellent. Yankel. Beautiful. Yankel asked, but don't we had a shaila earlier whether you're above or not. Well, we'll see. We'll see a Tosfos tonight. Or no, actually, we'll see it tomorrow. It's much better tomorrow because it's a very geschmack. Very excellent. Really excellent. Says the Gemara. So now Nachamo. We want to be poshit, guys. We want to be poshit like the first sad. That the svara of Yochanan ben Nuri is in the chefza, in the object. Why? There's no difference between water that's hefker and a kli that's hefker. And we see the one is kind of shvisa. So Bishleim, if you tell me the svara of Yochanan ben Nuri is a din in the chefza, I have someone to explain Rabbi Yosef's din by water. There's someone to explain Rabbi Yosef's din by water, that since the water is inanimate and is kind of shvisa, it must be that Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri holds the keli also kind of shvisa. Okay. However, if you're going to tell me Ela Amrit Chefze Hefka ain't kind of shvisa, and therefore they're subject to the person, Hamani, Loy Rabbi Yochanan, Loy Rabbanan. It's not Rabbi Yochanan, not Rabbanan. There's no one who would say that an inanimate object is kind of shvisa. So we bring a very nice raya to the first sad that it's a din in the kli. Yosef Abai v'kamal l'shmait. So he was saying over the sugya, Amal Reb Safel Abaya, the dilma b'geshamim have smuchim le'ir askinon. Maybe we're speaking about water that's near the city. Really, the inanimate object, the water cannot be kind of shvisa. However, maybe the people in the city had their mind on it, and it's the people who go ahead and establish the shvisa of the water.
The sort of clouds coming.
Say that's not a good svara. Ditnan. Bor shel yachid, the bor of an individual, the water in it is karagle yachid, has the tchum of the yachid of the individual. The shel oisay air, and the bor that's a communal bor, karagle oisay air. The shel ole bavel, which has a din of hefker, ole bavel, karagle hamamala. It has the din of what? That are the people that are who pick it up. So you see, it's not koina what? It's not koina shvisa. The Tanya bor shel shvatim, the bor of what? Of the shvatim, of the shvatim, of the shvatim. It's also hefker. Yesh lem alpayim amal l'chol ruach. So now you have a kasha. Again, we want to prove that Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri holds guys that has a din what in the chefza. We're just and the Gemara is suggesting maybe not, maybe it's a din of the people. We're now going to bring a raya to prove it's the din in the chefza and the kli, but along the way we're going to have a kasha. Here's the kasha. You just told me that the bar of the oily bavel is like the person who picks it up, meaning that's the guy bringing it to point B. Guys, you know what that means? It means that it's not kind of shvisa. Whoever picks it up, the water will get his shvisa. However, the Tanya Barshal Shvatim, Yesh Lam Apayim Amma, which is mashma, it is kind of shvisa. Right? The Shvatim gets 2,000 from wherever it is. Koshin Ha'adadi, now it's shver on each other. You have two boiris of hefker, one called Bavel, one called Shvatim. The Bavel one is getting it's not kind of shvisa. Why? Because it's going to go after the person who picks it up. The Shvatim one is kind of shvisa, right? The Shvatim one is kind of shvisa. Why? Because it says you're limited to 2,000 amis. Elalav Shmamina, Ha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. The Shvatim one is Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. You're kind of shvisa. Ha Rabbanon, and the bubble one is the Rabbanon that you're not kind of shvisa. Guys, how's that? So we asked the kasha, and now we're establishing clearly that Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri is saying it's a din in the chefza. Therefore, it makes sense to be pushed the shaila. Kiyasla kamed Rabbi Yosef, when they brought this in front of Rabbi Yosef, Amalei Hachi Kamer Rav Safra, Vachi Ahajolei. The same thing. Rav Safra asked the question. Maybe it's like Bnei Yosef here, and this is what we answered him. That while we have a brisa that says openly by the shvatim, that's 2,000 amis. The only way to explain by the water of the shvatim being 2,000 amis is to say Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri holds us a din in the chefza. That why it is kind of shvisa. It's a very geschmack. Right? Why don't you go ahead and say it from itself? Says Rashi. on this last point. Ki asa abaya l'kamei derav Yosef. Four lines from the bottom, 5 lines up. Yesh le mashmed inu gufay koni le'shvisa. V'lav mishum da'as anshe eir. It's not because of the people of the city. Mishum da'as anshe eir liyishana boy lemeimad. Right, the one who slept there. Hari hein kiragli oisay eir. The hainu nami alpayim l'charuach. Okay, so we want to know, why did he say gufa from the brisa itself? Why did he bring what from? In other words, why Reb Yochanan ben Nuri? I'm not sure exactly what the kasha is, guys. Where's he bringing it from? 1 second. V'maylei temelei migufa. Why did he say migufa from the thing itself?
From the price.
No, I'm trying to figure out what it's going back on. Why did he have to bring in?
I guess they bring got its own phone.
Can you talk about
The Bryce that
This is it, guys.
From the Mishnah.
If you're saying that it's Geshamim that's similar to the city, Hi Yeshlem Alpayim Ama L'chol Ruach, the Geshamim that came down Erev Yontif, that has right? Hi Karagli Anshe Oiseir Mi Boile. In other words, you could have said directly, this is what you could have told him. He's telling him, I think this is Pshat, check me out, let's go. Why did he have to bring in from the Shvatim? We bring in the Stira, and you wanted to go ahead and show that it could be speaking about Anshe of Oiseir, could be speaking about him. Why? Because, or else, how are you going to explain the discrepancy to explain that the bor of the Shvatim gets 2,000 amas? How do you explain that? It must be that he holds that. You go after it. Says Rabbi Yosef, from the Bryce itself, you could have shown it's wrong. What does the Bryce say? Says the Bryce itself. That none. It's really the Mishnah. Bor shel yachid, keregel, keragle yachid. Shel oisei ir, keragle oisei ir. Now, if you're going to tell me that the rain that came down Erev Yontif, right? We said the rain came down Erev Yontif. It's speaking about oisei ir. Why do we say if it comes down Erev Yontif? What do you got? Guys, look back. Tashma, go up. Gisham shiardem Erev Yontif, yesh lehem alpayim am l'chol ruach. Now, 1 second. If it's speaking about Anshe of Oisei Ir, it shouldn't get 2,000 amis. It should get the Anshe of Oisei Ir. So why do you have to draze the chakop to bring another Agin of Akiyas? In itself, you could have proven that what it was wrong.
Because it was kind of shvisa in the city.
Again, if you're telling me yes, the kasha, how do you know that the rain? How do you know the rain was Stamas Hefker? Maybe it was rain of Oisei Ir. So Yosef said, you don't have to bring in other bikiyas to slug that up. You could slug it up from itself, guys. Watch. Let's go back to it again. Toshma. Gishamim sheyardem Erev Yontif. Now, if it was what? If it was people of the city that had their mind on it, it should be what? Yesh lehem what? Ke'oisei Ir. It doesn't say that. It says Yesh lehem alpayim ama. So obviously, it can't be speaking of Oisei Ir. So therefore, you're proving that Rabbi Yochanan Nuri holds that the tzedin in the chefza, that the chefza hefka is kaina, and therefore what 2,000 amis, and any person who picks it up is limited to the 2,000 amis of the kli.